talk to someone who's just come up from the shelters downstairs who will brief our loved ones about how things are there. Bernie.
Yes, I was just, Ingrid has been sitting here on the floor. I don't know how you managed to get past those guards and make that long hike up those 14 stories that I made about an hour ago. But what is the situation in the bomb shelter? And Ingrid, you know all of the members of the press corps, the other American networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, they've been highly concerned about their people. So take your time now and give us a fill on what the situation is in the bomb shelter.
Well, what you can see from up here, you can hear down in the shelter is low, very low and quiet thumps. There was a little bit of confusion at the beginning. The press went down there, other hotel guests, hotel employees who also live in a compound nearby. A number of mothers and their children at a certain time, perhaps half an hour after the attack started, you heard chants of down, down, Bush, so we even had a little demonstration down in the shelter. The interesting thing was that some of the government guides that accompany us during the day when we try and work, and some of the hotel security people are walking around with Kalashnikovs and gas masks, which is something that was a little bit of a surprise to see. And I did see a lot of our colleagues down there, some of them who had been up on higher floors taking pictures, and they were taken by security people downstairs to a shelter, ostensibly for our own protection. Bernie.
And what is the mood of the people in the shelter?
Well, it's actually quieted down a lot. The confusion has ceased. Some of the people have gone to sleep. There's still a lot of milling around. The people are trying to get the BBC or anything to know what's going on in the outside world. There's a lot of questions about what's going on in Kuwait, Jordan, Israel, other spots that may be involved, and people are very curious to come above ground, waiting for daylight just to see what has happened.
Even in the midst of these raids around Baghdad, life goes on, and as incredible as it sounded incredible to my ears, John Holloman, a rooster crowing about 20 minutes ago as the bombs were going off out there over the horizon. Very strange sound.
I'll say, Bernie, and it's a long time before sunrise here. It's still a couple of hours before we're going to see the first rays of sunlight off to the east. But this rooster was obviously confused by all the military hardware arrayed and displayed in the skies of Baghdad. Peter Arnett standing by to talk to us some more, but I'm just going to look out the window once before I give the microphone to Peter. You can still see flashes in the sky, but still, strangely, eerily, there are no fires, which is an indication. President Bush said in his speech that they were not attacking civilian targets here. They were attacking specific military targets, and it appears that's correct from everything we can observe from our window.
Yes, thank you, John. By my watch in this dim light of this hotel room, these series of raids have been going on for about 2 hours and 50 minutes. They began at around 2:30 Baghdad time in the center of the city. The government installations or installations of one kind or another, maybe anti-aircraft, strategic communication centers, began in the center and stayed in this particular part of town for about an hour and a half, but they are moving outwards of a large perimeter. All around the horizon, we see explosions. There must have been scores and scores of raids that we have witnessed so far. When I say we witnessed, we've seen the flashes and we have seen the anti-aircraft fire going up. But it's obvious that these raids are continuing, and we can see the evidence of that. Here's Bernie Shore again.
Peter, I'm trying to clear my mind of everything to keep the chronology of events uppermost, and I am anticipating two things at daybreak. One is more a hope than an anticipation. We hope that, one, when it's safe to go outside, we can find somebody in authority in this government to talk to. We do not know where President Saddam Hussein is at this moment as these raids continue. The other thing I anticipate is that Saddam Hussein will be beseeched by friends, some of them, to quit Kuwait. And, of course, you have to assume that he's going to have his supporters who will say, fight on. But I can't wait for daybreak because we've got even more work to do, and it's going to be interesting to see whether we can find anybody responsible in this government here in Baghdad to respond not only to the attacks, but also to the address of the President of the United States. Peter?
Yes, indeed, Bernie. Now, President Saddam Hussein has made it clear in the past week that he almost welcomed this war and he was prepared to fight it. So as we see it continuing, we'll report back to Atlanta, but let me give you John Holliman first.
Now we're going to go back to Atlanta to see what else our other network correspondents have to tell us.
John, Peter, and Bernie, thank you very much. We'll certainly be back with you. It's not quite sunup yet in Baghdad. By the way, the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, is reporting that 5 Iraqi Scud missiles have been fired on Saudi Arabia, and the French embassy in Riyadh confirms that at least 1 Scud missile was fired. Those are the first reports of effective or possibly effective retaliatory firing from Iraq outward. Well, we've just heard from the very interior of a bombed country, Iraq. Let's go now to the interior of the United States, the hometown of the late President Harry S. Whoops, we're switching our plans now to go to Charles Jaco in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, we've just been given a statement by General Norman Schwarzkopf, the commander of the U.S. Central Command and the head of Operation Desert Storm, to the troops. I'll read part of it very briefly. This morning at 0300 Saudi time, we launched Operation Desert Storm, an offensive campaign that will enforce the UN resolutions. And this is directed to the troops, all the troops, especially the U.S. troops. During my visits with you, I have seen in your eyes a fire of determination to get this job done quickly so we all may return to the shores of our great nation. My confidence in you is total. Our cause is just. Now you must be the thunder and lightning of Desert Storm. May God be with you. Signed, General H. Norman Schwarzkopf, Commander-in-Chief, U.S. Central Command. The indications we're getting so far are that the operation to this early date is working fairly well. David?
Well, tonight we know why they call him Stormin' Norman. Thank you for that. We've just been in the heartland of Iraq with our 3 fine correspondents there. Let's go to the heartland of America now, the hometown of the late Harry Truman, where Jeff Flock is standing by.
David, Middle America is tonight glued to the reportage from the Middle East. Let's get first reaction now to the first retaliation, reports of the first retaliation. This gentleman's son is on a Navy destroyer. Sir?
Well, I think he left us with some assurity that they have made decisions based on a lot of good facts, and Congress and him have, we've engaged, and I think the greatest thing I heard is that he's going to allow us to go in there and do battle.
All right. Other reaction? Sir, your first reaction?
I feel like the president's speech was good. This is no Vietnam, and it's not going to be. And I back the president and the troops 100%.
Before we get away, a young person, what you saw, what do you think of it?
I don't think it's good, and I don't think we should go to war over just some stupid oil.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
Middle America, Independence, Missouri. We'll be back with more reaction later. I'm Jeff Flock, CNN, reporting live.
Jeff, thank you very much. It's coming up on the time when Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney is going to address reporters at the Pentagon, fill in a little more of the detail of what is going on and the scope and the size of the forces which have attacked Iraq tonight. We'll also hear from General Colin Powell. Wolf, you're standing by there now. Anything since the last time we talked?